Wow, she just told us that the meeting's being recorded. That's never happened before. Welcome to yoga. I also have a funny throat thing happening. So I hope I have a voice. I sat by the fire all night last night. All right, so we are into our elements. We've been following the elements of nature through the whole spring. For me, that has just been delightful, and I'm glad to have you all with me on this journey. What the air element brings to me is a sense of lightness and enthusiasm. And so my son, I was just talking about him as we got started, he's like one of the most enthusiastic people I have ever met. And if you've met him, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he is just fireball enthusiasm all the time, always excited. So the other night, it's dinner time, and I brought his dinner to the table and I set it down, and he's like, "Mom, this is the best dinner ever." And I'm like, yes, that's amazing, because like, I love hearing that. That means he's going to eat it. But also, I'm looking at his plate, and it's like grilled cheese and some fruit. It's like not fancy, nothing that he doesn't eat like 4 other days a week kind of thing. But he has this energy, right? Like this excitement, enthusiasm that is just so uplifting. And one of the things about it is, like, because his enthusiasm is through the roof, it lifts me up too. And as a person who tends to be more withdrawn, who can be very negative, I know you guys don't necessarily see that part all the time, but like, I can tend to be really quiet and reserved. So being around that enthusiasm like helps me to light up too. It's really fun that way. So when I think about enthusiasm, it is light, it is expansive, it's energetic, and it creates connection between people where it wouldn't be there before. It's contagious, it spreads, which is super cool. And without it, we just kind of go back into what I often talk about with kind of like being limp, like boring existence. We're just kind of going through the motions, but there's no real juice, which it doesn't feel so great. And so I bring it in with the air quality this week because of both the lightness to it, and so think like being light as air, and also because of the way that they are connective. If you think about it right now, like, we are always being touched by air. We are always enclosed by air. And that's one of the gifts of this particular element. I think we don't have to go out looking for it. Thank God. It's always right here with us. And it is one of the ways that we connect with all the other beings on this planet, as we have learned this year. So yoga, so we're always wrapped in it. And I think, that enthusiasm and air have this very similar quality of connectiveness. So yoga helps us to wake up our senses. One of the things you may have noticed as you've gone through your practice through the years is when you leave, like, your vision is more clear, possibly. You're hearing more, you're sensing more. Things feel more vibrant and alive. It's like turning up the volume on your life. And so when we practice yoga and turn up the volume and on our senses, that can increase our enthusiasm for life, right? It can give us the sense of like, oh yeah, this is not so bad to be here living. Also, when you do practice with enthusiasm, your practice goes better. I tell you, it feels so much better because you're not bumping into your resistance every time you try to do something. If you've ever practiced in resistance, you know what I'm talking about. So you're not fighting your own sluggishness. So, but there's also something more. Enthusiasm, the word enthusiasm comes from the Greek, which means en, the pieces of it are en theos, meaning like with God, possessed by God, inspired. And I know God, that word can be a great word for some folks and not a great word for others. So feel free to substitute source or life force or Shakti, goddess, right? But it's that sense of being infused with the divine, with something deeper, and that the enthusiasm is not something you're putting on from the outside, but something that comes deeply expressed from the inside out. So to practice with enthusiasm is to practice with source, with spirit, with Shakti radiating from the inside out. And that expands and unfolds us and helps us to step into more the fullness of who we are, not the dullness that gets sort of stuck onto us, but the deep fullness of who we are. So today I invite you to allow enthusiasm to bubble up inside of you as you practice, and to help allow it to draw you into your heart, right? Where you connect with peace and joy, and then to let that radiate out enthusiastically. We'll play with it, see how it goes. Start with a good seat, sitting up on your support. You can turn your inner thighs in. Draw your low back in and up. Hands rest on your thighs. And then close your eyes and draw inside. Allow a breath to fill your body, fill your form. Breathe all the way down to the solid earth beneath you. And then lengthen through the spine and all the way up. Take the heads of your arm bones back. Feel the air entering your body in the form of breath. And going back out. And just notice where you're starting from for this practice. How enthusiastic do you feel about getting on your yoga mat and doing some things with your body? Something brought you here, so there's at least something. We'll see how we feel by the end. Then draw your attention to your heart space. Go deeper. So don't stop on the surface. Your joy is sourced in the center of your heart. You have access to that. You just have to remember. Go deeper. Listening into your heart. Listen for your intention. Let it rise up from within the way enthusiasm does. And then join palms in front of you. We'll chant a single round of Om. We'll follow that with the Shiva invocation in the old form. So if you're unfamiliar, just listen and you can certainly join in on the Om at the end. Welcome your in-breath. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Martaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Bow the ideas and any sluggishness and tiredness of the head to the brightness, the vibrance, the enthusiasm of the heart. And release your hands down onto your thighs. Lift your head slowly back up and open your eyes. All right, so we're going to start standing. So come to a place where you've got room to stretch your arms to your sides. And stand up. Make sure you can see me. You can. Okay. So stand with your feet in Tadasanas. Make sure you have some room. Bring your arms alongside your body. The other elements are still present with us. So from the earth, draw up through the legs to the core of the body, inner thighs back and tail down. And then inhale and sweep your arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers at the top and turn your palms up. I'm backing up so you can see my arms as best you can. Good. Reach downwards through both legs as you reach up through the arms. So we're working into the arms and the torso today, letting the breath enter. And then exhale, let the arms float back down. Let's just move through the air first. Inhale, sweep both arms up overhead. Exhale, arms back down. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Inhale and open with enthusiasm. Exhale, blow away anything that feels kind of dusty. You can move on your own breath pace. You don't have to stick right with me. Really let the air enter the lungs and fill your whole torso. Even imagine you could breathe all the way down through hollow tubes of your legs and fill them with breath as well. So we're always in this exchange with air. It's right here as part of our practice. Next time you come up and pause. Take hold of the left wrist with your right hand, arc over towards the right. Breathe deep and allow the space on the left side rib cage to start to lightly open. You don't have to force anything. So one of the things is enthusiasm can get very excited. We don't have to do any forcing. Inhale up. So it's a fine line. Switch sides. Clasp the right wrist. Exhale over to the left. Keeping the legs firm, push down through both of them. And again, send your breath into the right side rib cage. Inhale up. Exhale, this time sweep both arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. Lift the heads of your arm bones on your breath, shoulders back, and press the arms back. One thing that happens is the head will go forward to resist that, to kind of counterbalance. So resist the head forward, keep your ears over your shoulders as you open the front chest. Release your arms, sweep them up to the sky. Big breath in and legs strong. Exhale, bow forward into standing forward bend. And if you need to for your first one of the day, just bend your knees, no problem. Firm the legs. Return to your breath, and with your inhale, with enthusiasm, sweep your heart, towards the front. And exhale, fold over strong straight legs. 2 more times like that. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale and fold. Push down through the legs. 1 more time. Inhale and expand. Reach the heart forward, ribs forward. Exhale and fold. Now push down into the legs. Sweep the arms all the way back up into the air and reach up through your fingertips beyond the edges of your body. Then exhale, draw your palms together in front of your heart. Little series through there. One more time. Interlace your fingers, stretch your arms straight forward, and inhale, lift them up. So for a moment, make your breath kind of shallow, like tense around your chest. Tense not in a really painful way, but see if you can make the breath slightly shallow. And then release that. Let the breath get more full. Just to feel the difference. Then release both hands straight up to the sky, clasp your left wrist and arc over to the right side. Open to the air. Inhale up in the center, clasp the right wrist, arc to the left side. Open to the air that flows into the right side of the rib cage. Inhale up into the center, sweep both arms back behind you. Exhale, clasp hands. Lift the heads of your arm bones and draw them back. Take your head back. When your head is back, the breath, the air can flow more freely through your throat area down into the lungs. And then release both arms, sweep them up with enthusiasm, stretch up a little taller, and exhale, fold forward into standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Keep your legs steady. Now, from the buttocks, we talked about this last week, scoop the tailbone down, press from the buttocks all the way down into both legs into the floor. So there's a kind of expanding that's happening. And then inhale, reach your heart forward. Yeah, exhale and fold over the legs. 2 more times. Inhale, heart forward. And exhale, fold over. Once more, inhale, heart forward, and exhale and fold, and just pause for a moment. Feel the breath, the air entering you and exiting your form. Take your arms to the sky again, push the heels down, reach up, and then draw your palms together in front of your heart. Exhale. Take your right arm, straight out ahead of you. Your left hand can come to your hip. And you all are familiar with this alignment of from the middle finger draw up through your arm to plug the head of your arm bone into the shoulder socket. Everybody, yeah, you're all familiar with that. So do that. Then sweep it up to the sky. Then look with your eyes as you take it back behind you and circle it down towards the mat as you exhale. Inhale, it lifts up and plugs in, and exhale as it circles back and down. We'll do two more. Inhale, lift up. What I want you to feel is the air moving on your skin, across your skin, your body, your hand moving through this ocean of air that we're always living in. Next time you come through, you can bring your hand to your hip and switch sides. Take your left arm straight forward. Again, from the middle finger all the way up, draw in. Yeah, so you're plugged in, then reach up, inhale, and exhale, circle it back. We're also juicing up the shoulder socket, the shoulder joint. Yep, good. Inhale. Let the breath be part of the practice. Exhale as it comes down and around. 2 more circles. Then you can turn your torso a little bit with it if you'd like. So you're increasing the range of motion. Stretch out as far as you can and then come back to the center. Excellent. If you're not at the top of your mat, step towards the top of your mat. Bring your palms to your heart. With enthusiasm, refresh your intention. And then reach your arms beside you. Inhale and lift up to the sky. Exhale and fold down. Keep the legs rooting into the earth. As you inhale, sweep your heart towards the front. Exhale, step your left leg back and come into a lunge. Squeeze your legs firmly to the middle and then lower your left knee down onto the mat. Take your right hand on your right thigh, twist towards the right. So our little psoas opener, squeezing the legs firmly, hug them to the middle. And let's take that same circle. So your arm moves through space instead of going just straight up. So take your right arm forward, plug it in, and then inhale, sweep it back behind, overhead back behind, and then down towards the mat and forward. We'll do 2 more. Sweep it up and around. Keep your left shoulder back and down. And once more, sweep it up and around. And all the way back down to the mat. Place your right hand on the mat, lift your left knee, and step forward into standing forward bend. Notice the difference in the 2 sides if there is any. Inhale with the breath, reach the heart forward, and exhale, step your right leg back, come into lunge. Knee over ankle and scissor your legs towards the center. So feel the blessing of the air all around you, holding you. And then lower the back knee, bring your left hand to your left thigh and twist. There's no time when we're like out of touch with air until we plunge ourselves into water or outer space. It's kind of amazing to me. Keeping the legs steady, take your left arm forward, plug it in, and then inhale, sweep it up and back and around. So I'm hoping to, entice your shoulder circle 2 more times to open. And your chest to start to want to go with it. 1 more time up and around. So that the breath can be more free and easy. Bring your left hand back down to the floor. Lift your back knee and step forward again. Because when the breath is free and easy, there's a lightness in the whole body. Inhale, heart halfway forward. And then enthusiasm just flows from the inside out. Exhale, fold. Take your arms wide, lift up to the sky, and exhale your palms together in front of your heart center. And then walk back to about the center of your mat. So as you all know, we've been playing with different salutations for each of the elements. This is our air salutation. I want to tell you that if you need to, you'll find out why in just a moment, you are invited to add a blanket in front of you, and you can put your hands down at any time. We're going to try kind of a no-handed sun salutation, a little different. So standing in Tadasana, bring your feet a little closer than you normally would. You can even bring your big toes to touch. And sweep your arms up overhead. Inhale. Now, as your palms come together in front of your heart, rise up on your tiptoes. Breathe. If you need to, at any point, put your hands on the mat. Otherwise, you're going to slowly bend your knees forward. See if you can bring your heels and your buns towards each other, possibly meeting. This is not possible. Do chair pose, regular chair pose, and then bring your fingertips to the floor. All right, now here's the moment where it's really fun. So if possible, take your arms out like in a cactus, and you're going to put your knees ever so lightly on the floor as slowly as possible, or your butt might end up on the floor. Totally thing. So the hands come out, you slowly reach the knees for the mat. Yeah, and then come up onto your knees. Yeah, it's harder than it seems like it should be. And now, with the hands out here, hug the heads of the arm bones back into the back of the heart and lift your heart up. A little baby back bend for the first one. Exhale, bow all the way forward, hands reach the top of the mat and step back to downward facing dog. It's like, oh, this is familiar, this is nice. Take a deep breath in, enjoy the blessing of air, and then reach through the bones. So extend your arm bones towards the mat, extend your leg bones back, and then bending your right knee, reach your left heel for the mat, and switch sides. Go back and forth about 2 or 3 more times. And we'll move our air salutation a little quicker in a moment. Let the breath, the air move through the body and start to awaken it so you're loosening up the stuck parts. Good, now come back to the center and firm your arms. Hollow your armpits, soften your upper back, and rise up on tiptoes. Take 3 hops, and the point is just get your butt in the air a little bit. See what you can do. See how much you can kind of hover. Oh, my mat moved, so be careful. And then on your 4th one, hop just to the center of the mat. Or step, always an option. Excellent, legs strong. Inhale the heart forward, fill with air. Exhale, empty like a balloon, empty all the way out. Then reach for the sky again. Reach the fingertips up into the air above your head and take a mini curl backwards. And then exhale and draw your palms together in front of your heart. So if you'd like a blanket for your knees, now that you know kind of what's happening, add that blanket for your knees. Otherwise, here we go. Step the feet pretty close together. Come up on tiptoe. And we lower down slow. So moving through the air, hands free. Good, once you get there, hands can come out or you can keep them in front of you for more balance. And slowly, I'm trying not to touch my wall here. Slowly bring your knees to the mat. Then lift up. Yes, you can take hands into cactus and take a mini back bend, or if your spine will allow, go right into camel. That's a lot for some backs, so if that's not you this morning, don't bother. And then coming back up to the center, inhale both arms up. Place the hands down, step back to down dog. You might want to hop again so that you're getting more into the air. Take a breath in downward facing dog. Rise up on tiptoes, take 3 little hops, and it can just be tiny or they can be big, but play with the idea of hovering for a moment in the air. Then hop to the center of the mat. Inhale your heart out towards the front. Exhale, fold empty like a balloon. Everything goes. What rushes in next is joy, is enthusiasm. Reach for the sky, come all the way up. So if you're going to touch the sun and then a little curl backwards, and exhale, join the palms in front of your heart. Let's do it one more time, just like that. Inhale up onto your tiptoes. Slowly lower, heels and buns coming together. You can find the core strength that's required for this. Touch the mat whenever you need to. And then slowly, the knees go for the mat. You'll notice I'm taking my torso back. Yeah. Inhale all the way up. And then mini back bend or bigger back bend, your choice. Feeling the air around your skin wherever you are. Inhale back up to the center. Touch the mat, step or hop back, downward facing dog. Legs are light and free. Take 3 hops. So how do you get up into the air? You got to bend your knees to be able to do that. Good. And then come back to regular, just plain downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, take your right leg up into the air now. Feel this air all around the right leg, and then make your right leg really firm. Spread your right pinky toe with enthusiasm. Yeah. Step forward to come into lunge. Back heel is high. Scissor your hips to the middle, and inhale, reach up to the sky. Just take a deep breath and arrive here. And open to grace, right? That's which we're going to reveal to us our enthusiasm when we've lost it. Staying centered in the middle, take your left hand to your left thigh. And it's a little lift up. Could be small, could be big. Lift your heart. Now, bring both hands to meet in front of your chest, straight out ahead of you. Come back to the middle with your torso. Take your right hand back behind, twist to the right. Narrow your waist as you look back towards your right thumb. Come back to the center, sweep both arms up, and the left hand circles back again to the left thigh. Lift your heart, curl up. Come back to the center, left arm up. And exhale, reach down, touch the mat, step back to downward facing dog. Notice if you held your breath through that whole thing. And we'll try it without holding the breath on the second side. Inhale your left leg high. Feel the air on your skin. Make your leg muscles steady and your arm muscles steady. And then with enthusiasm though, spread out your toes. It's like sending consciousness into every part of your body. Step your left foot forward into lunge. Squeeze the leg muscles onto the bones, scissor the hips to the front, and then inhale and lift up. Exhale, let everything empty out. Air likes to move, it doesn't want to stay still. So let it fill you and empty. Then you feel refreshed. Take right hand back to the right thigh. It's a little reverse crescent, could be big, could be small. Depends on how your body feels this morning. Come back to neutral with your spine. Take both arms straight out ahead of you. They meet in the front. And then open the left arm, turn the torso, twist to the left. Again, can be big, can be small. Feel yourself moving through space. Now, notice if your shoulders have gotten out ahead of your hips, bring them back. Yes, come back to the center. Both arms lift up. Take your right hand back to your right thigh. Lift your heart, curl up. And then both hands meet in the middle. Exhale, reach down, touch the mat. Now, if you want to do a traditional vinyasa, I know, this is like your one shot if you want to go there. Otherwise, just step back to downward facing dog. You can feel the weight, the earthiness of the traditional vinyasa if you're adding that in this morning. It's kind of nice to leave it out every once in a while, but it does feel familiar. Sometimes we can be quite enthusiastic about, yes, this feels familiar. This feels good to my body. All right. All right. So now look up towards your hands from downward facing dog. Bend your knees and step or hop to the top of the mat in Uttanasana. Reach your heart out and exhale, fold. Take the arms wide as you push the feet down. Lift up and join palms in front of your heart. Take a wide stance. And you may want your blocks on the back side of the mat. So you guys know I tend to move from vinyasa. So we're just playing with coming from the air into the pose instead of the ground up. Take the legs out wide. Turn your left leg slightly in towards your belly. Turn your right leg all the way out from the hip. Heel and arch alignment. Yep, take a deep breath. And as the legs get strong, bend your right knee. Bend your right forearm to your right thigh, Parsvakonasana, and receive the air. Yeah, let it soften any resistance, because when you are resisting your practice, it's a lot harder. Become enthusiastic about it, even if your hip doesn't agree. Now, take your left arm forward Let's plug it in. So the legs are doing what they do. We know that. Plug it in as we often do, head of the arm bone back, and then reach up and over. Now you can stay here or bring right hand down onto the block or onto the floor on the outside of your right foot. Wherever you are, first breathe in and get light on the inside, like your whole body is filled with helium. And then extend from your pelvis into the earth to root the helium balloon to the mat, and then reach out through your fingertips, through the sides of your waistline, all the way out with enthusiasm. Melt your left ribs. There you go. Inhale, push down, come up. Turn all 10 toes towards the long edge of your mat. Squeeze the outer hips to hold you stable. And with your hands behind now, or on your hips if needed, lift the heads of your arm bones, take them back, and exhale to bow forward into standing, Prasarita Padottanasana. So it's a forward bend, so there's some compression in the front of the body, and we're not like reaching up and out. We're drawing inwards, but can we have same quality of expansion? So as the legs hug steady, also push down through the bones. And when the legs push down like that, you'll be able to also lift your low belly and then cascade through the spine, down towards the floor. What I noticed is when I pushed my feet down, my head got to the floor. Wasn't there before. Lift the arm bones. Now, root down through the legs, inhale and come back up. Hands to your hips. Turn your left leg out. Turn your right toes slightly in if you didn't already. From your feet, draw up into the core of your pelvis, staying steady, and then exhale, bend your left knee, and just check it out. I've been noticing a lot of wandering knees coming in towards the big toe. Keep it out towards second, third toe. Then bring left forearm to your left thigh. With your breath, expand the inner part of your body. The inner body gets brighter and more full when we're more in touch with the enthusiasm that's coming from the inside out. Now steady your legs, keep them as you know, and then take the top arm out, plug it in, reach it up and over your ear. You can stay here. This is enough. Whatever you choose, do it with enthusiasm. Stay here, or bring your hand to the block, or bring your hand to the floor on the outside of your left foot. Foot is sliding. From deep in the core of your pelvis, root to the earth, and then with enthusiasm, stretch your ribs away from your hips and reach out. We want the practice to be so enthusiastic, that is, filled with Shakti, filled with life force, that we come alive within it, right? Root down through the legs, inhale, and slowly or quickly come back out. Turn your toes back towards the front and just walk your feet in about a foot width closer, not super close, but a little bit closer. Hands to your hips. Shift your weight towards the right just a bit. Now, when you do, the right knee will say, I will cave in, because that seems to make things easier. That does not make things easier over the long run, especially for your hips. So guide your right knee out towards the right as you shift a little bit to the right. Yeah, notice we didn't turn our toes, so this is more like a lateral position. Come back up, then go the other way. Left knee. Again, left knee will say, it's easier if I turn in. That's not true, don't listen. Turn it out towards the toes. Good, come back up, and then go to the right. So, well, actually, come back to the center. Having enough breath to do this stuff at the same time is a challenge for me sometimes. So those are the motions, and then we're gonna add a balance into it. So we're gonna go right, left, and then stand up onto the right foot. I'll talk you through it, but that's where we're headed. So hands on the hips, go right, bend the right knee, come up, bend the left knee, come up, bend the right knee, push off the left foot. See if you can balance sort of anywhere in space. Yeah. Feeling air, you're balanced in an ocean of air all around you. I know this is very nondescript of where your leg is. I'm okay with that. Step your left foot back out to that kind of wide space. Hands can come back to your hips. Go left, go right, go left and up. Yeah. Excellent. So you know from our earth work, from our firework, your left outer glute's got to help. Push the left outer glute in to hold you up. Excellent. Step back out to the right. Hands to the hips. We're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to go right, right, stand on the left leg. So here we go. Right side, right side, push off right, stand left. A little easier. Good. Whatever makes sense. Now let's play in the air for a second. Just move an arm or a leg or all arms and legs that are not touching the earth through air. Yeah, it can be wild if you want it to. Good. Step the right foot back down. Here we go. Right side, no, bend left, bend right, bend left, jump up onto the right, or jump, but hover. You know the right outer glute has got to come up to hold you, right? There you go. Now, move in space. Can be fast, can be slow, can be around, can just be a toe, can be enthusiastic. I've got this is awesome. Step back out wide. Very good. Turn your toes towards the top of your mat, wherever that may be, and step back up. Fun. Reach for the sky with enthusiasm. Let's go up on tiptoe even. It's like a kid who wants to be tall enough to do what they want to do, and then heels back down, exhale, and fold over the legs. Inhale, take your heart out, step back to table pose, exhale. Bring your forearms down. Interlace your fingers. Bring your elbows underneath of your shoulders. Inhale and fill the body with breath. The sides of the ribs really long. And then heads of the arm bones into the shoulder socket. Melt your heart. Lift your knees. Come on up, dolphin. Now, can you have the same kind of enthusiasm for dolphin that you just had for dancing around on a standing 1 foot balance? Doesn't have the same kind of feel just to be in the pose, but can you play with it anyway? Like, how can you bring enthusiastic heart to a pose that could be challenging or boring or your favorite or your least favorite? We want to be able to be skillful at doing that. Heads of the arm bones way back, curl your heart in. Walk your feet in a little more if you can. Awesome, walk your feet back now, lower your knees, pause. You can go into child's pose if that would feel good. You can do a vinyasa if that would feel good, a traditional vinyasa. What does your body feel enthusiastic about? Nobody took me up on the traditional vinyasa. I get it. All right, so come on back to dolphin once again. Interlace fingers. Heads of the arm bones hover towards the front of the mat and then soften between your shoulder blades. Now, we did all the firework, right? So lift the sides of the ribs, engage the core. Remember that cough to get the low belly to plug in. Keep all that. Then just lift your knees up. Walk your feet in. Stay in dolphin or lift your right leg. Like one-finned dolphin. And with enthusiasm, spread the toes. And if you're feeling really frisky, take a little hop. Lower the right leg down. Take the left leg up. Firm leg, enthusiastic toes. Maybe a little hop. And then lower that leg back down. Walk your feet back again. Lower your knees. Go to child's pose for another moment. It may feel good to wrap the arms back behind and just change the angle of the shoulders. Be in the conversation with air. So you're in a relationship with your breath. It's filling, nourishing you. emptying out toxins, and centers you, right? Brings you right back to yourself if you've gotten drawn anywhere else. What a gift. Stretch both arms forward, come again to downward facing dog. Look up towards the top of the mat and step or hop yourself forward into standing forward bend. Reach your heart forward. Exhale, bow. Arms wide, legs strong, come up. And rejoin palms in front of your heart. Now let's take more traditional standing balance, tree pose. So standing on the left leg. Feel the fire, feel the earth quality in the left leg, the water quality of the pelvis getting balanced. And then just hover the right foot up, wherever it's going to go for Vrikshasana tree pose. Yes. Remember, if the hips tend to hike in this funny direction, so crease in the front of the right hip, but hugging left outer hip in. It's a lot of pieces. Join palms, shoulders back. And again, you can play. You take the arms up and let the air play with letting the tree blow in the breeze a little bit. Whatever that feels possible for you. You can circle the arms if you need to, or if it's possible. If you have the room, the hard part. Awesome. Bring this leg back down. And switch feet, stand onto your left, firm the muscles all around the left leg. So there's the earth rising up, inner thigh moving back, fire in the core, step the left leg up, light as air. Left foot, right leg, settle the left hip, hug the right outer hip in. Yeah, join the palms, it's available. And again, you can take the arms up and blow them through the breeze. One of the things I like about putting air into the arms is, our arms help us communicate so much. And communication moves through the air in the form of speech and sound. Without the air, it wouldn't be there. The same way. Good. Bring your hands back, bring your foot back down. And let's get a block or two blocks, put them near the top of the mat. They can be on Mama Bear, Papa Bear, or Baby Bear. I'm going to start with mine highest. So I guess this is Papa Bear. It's hard to convey block settings over this. So standing with the feet in parallel with good space between the blocks, between you and the blocks, reach for the sky. And exhale, fold. Keep some lightness even as your hands come onto the blocks. Now, it's like Uttanasana, but stretch the heart forward. Yeah, so it's like extended Uttanasana. Now, take your right foot back behind you and lift it. Like standing split. There you go. So I noticed that your head just wants to clunk to the ground. Instead, extend your spine. Now, your choice. Go lower on the blocks if it's available, or even bring your hands all the way down to the floor with the legs steady. Now, claw your hands with enthusiasm. Shift your weight even more forward towards your hands and possibly come up on tiptoe on the left leg. So we're going really airy, maybe a little hop or two. Or three. Yeah, good. And then walking the hands in, lift the heart, and exhale, lower right leg back down. And I just need to bend my knees and make my hips do a hula for a second, because that's a lot on the hips, I know. All right, let's try the second side. So again, hands up on blocks or on the mat. Inhale, reach the heart halfway forward. Start there. Legs really strong, and then take the left leg back behind you. Notice I'm not worried about your left leg touching the ceiling. It can be quite low, doesn't matter. But feel the air on the skin. Hug your right outer hip in, extend the spine, and then exhale and fold over a little. Maybe bring your palms flat, and you can be on any level of the block. Now, I do shift my weight way forward. So shift the weight forward towards the hands, and then come up on tiptoe. And I like my hands pretty far forward from my back foot. Otherwise, I feel like I can't quite get there. maybe a hop or two. Good. Lower the leg, walk the hands back, lower the heels down, bow. Again, if you want to sway your hips right and left for a moment through the space, I'm cool with that. It's your practice. All right, legs strong, root down and slowly come back up again. Exhale, palms to your heart. Release your arms. All right, if you have a wall, now's a good time to orient yourself towards that wall. If you don't have a wall, we are going to experiment what's going to happen next. A railing could work as well, but we are going to go to the wall for a few moments, like 3 things. First things first, we're going to step to the wall and do pizza pie, I call it. So taking your right hand out, pinky finger towards the wall, as if you have an air pizza in your hand. Push into the wall, lift the head of your arm bone, take your shoulder back, and then turn away from the wall. So notice my hand is behind me, and it's no higher than my shoulder. Yeah. And you may notice also where now the breath catches, where it feels sticky or stuck, and where it feels free and open. There's no right or wrong here. We're just trying to open up any pathway that's gotten constricted. And life will do things that make us feel constricted, like exist. Life happens, right? And we constrict against that. So we're just trying to like re-access some of the bliss that's in there. Some of it just gets stuck in the physical body, so we do this to help. Good, turn back towards the wall. Release your right arm. See if you can feel any difference in the 2 sides. I do for sure. And switch sides now. Take your left pinky finger towards the wall, like there's a pizza in your hand. I start facing the wall generally. And then inhale, lift the side ribs, lift the head of your arm bone, armpit hollow. Take your left shoulder away from the wall and hug your left shoulder blade towards your spine, and then turn your torso away. It might be a little away, it might be a lot. And you may notice the 2 sides are different. Really reasonable, really makes sense, because we do things differently in our body. We are not always symmetrical. But send an enthusiastic breath. Again, imagine that the left arm is hollow, and you're just breathing enthusiasm through it. As if the bliss that's already inside is starting to undo those places where it's gotten calcified and break free. May or may not have that experience, but it's a nice image. And then slowly turn back towards the wall and release your arm back down. Can move the shoulders around, yeah? Helpful? Good, okay. So we're coming to half handstand first, and then regular handstand, meaning not half handstand if that's part of your practice. I know we've got people working in different ways, and you can certainly use like a railing for a half handstand. You can also do, like I'm looking at you, Debbie, who is not with a wall. You can do a handstand supine if you need to. Like being back here, I know you've worked with shoulder stuff before. I don't know how it is now, but holding the block, taking it back, and just working the arm integration and the legs staying strong. That's a really nice way to work for handstand if you can't actually put weight on the arms. And certainly dolphin. Otherwise, I lost my corner when I moved spaces. So you're going to come to hands and knees facing away from the wall. Good. All right. So I understand that half handstand and handstand can inspire more fear than enthusiasm for some people. Maybe that's you. If so, see if you can still breathe back into the intention that you brought to your practice this morning. Start there. All right, now with an in-breath, lengthen through the sides of the rib cage And then soften between your shoulder blades. Melt your heart. If your head is dipped to the ground, lift it up slightly. There you go. Good. Now lift your knees. And then one foot goes up to the wall about hip height, followed by the other foot going up to the wall about hip height. And there you are. Lift up. Now, hollowing your armpits with enthusiasm, press your heart towards the wall. Light as air, spread out. So push down into both arms and out into both legs. Nice. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Sherry, that looks so good. So heart stays soft, armpits hollow, heart soft. Lane, you can try looking towards the wall and lift your ribs. Good, 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 good. And then slowly come on back down. Debbie, just stay there as long as it feels good because we're going to do it again. And just take a breath. That looked awesome, you guys. That looked really, really clear. And I'm seeing some progress even over Zoom, which is really inspiring. Okay, so we're going to do it one more time in the half handstand variation. And you have the option now to take a leg up like we did in dolphin, like we did in standing split. The idea again being play with just feeling the air on your skin and expanding. You all have the general form now. Can you have the sense of enthusiastic expansion into it? And it'll make it feel a little lighter. Any questions before we go? Okay. All right, so let's try it again. Again, coming back to table pose. Hands and knees. Remember your hands are under your outer shoulders. Claw the ground. Inhale and then soften between the shoulder blades. Melt your upper back. Good. If your head is dangling down, lift it up a little bit. Awesome. Good. Lift your knees. Step one foot to the wall. Step the other foot to the wall. Hollow your armpits. Press your heart towards the wall as you straighten your legs. Then one leg hovers up and play with pressing down into the floor and up through the leg. So you find like this enthusiasm expanding, and then the one leg comes down and switch for the other leg. Same thing, push down and push up at the same time. Yeah, you guys, you look so good. That is awesome. And then that leg comes on back down and you can step yourself all the way down. Yeah, Sherry, that's it. Keep pressing hips over shoulders. Yes. So good. Awesome. Questions? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So you have one more. You are welcome to stick with that. You are welcome to bring your back up again. If your arms are done, your wrists are done, bring your back up against the wall, take your hands out and just come to like here. And this, you know, it looks like I'm in the air from there, but this is great work for your shoulders, just going up and down in this position. If you're done with being up and, you know, in that space, that'll help your shoulders get ready for a handstand. If you're ready to handstand, turn back around towards the wall. And we got so many people working on different things, right? So maybe you're working on your kicking up to the wall. Go ahead, Kathleen. I know you've got gym. Go. You're good. But take it to an edge, right? Like play enthusiastically and lightly at your edge, whatever that is. So I think everybody's pretty familiar. I'll talk you through it. You can go with me if you want, or go ahead. So the hands are there. You inhale, lengthen the side ribs, soften the upper back, hugging the shoulder blades on the back of your heart. Then you lift the knees. So weird to do this without seeing you. Step one foot in a little bit. Lift the other leg. And it's that push and hop, playing with getting into the air. And maybe you're just playing with being at the wall, trying to get to the wall. Maybe you're already at the wall and playing with balance. Maybe you're somewhere in between. I know that's not a lot of explanation, but I know that all of you are familiar with it. That's why I'm not giving as much. Yeah, so Leighton, you could move further from the wall if you want to. There you go. I don't know where things are for you, Gretch. Yeah, nice, Leighton. Julie, take your hips back and your heels up. Madison, got some hover time. Nice. Yes. Just feel so, it's like we get to play. Good, Sherry, that looks good for your shoulders. Just get to play with this sense of being upside down, being in the air in a different way, in relationship with air and space and earth in a different way. Good, yeah, you can do your wrist thing. Think of pushing your butt towards the wall, Madison. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so good. All right, all right. Slowly, slowly, come on back. Oh, you can go ahead, Leighton, you're good. Come on back to the center. She's like, no, I've had enough. And Gretchen, go for it. If it's there for you, go for it. What do I want us to do next? All right, perfect. Come on back to the center or wherever it is for you now that we're off the wall. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Different relationship with air now that the feet are back on the ground. But still inverted, and feel the breath. Move it into the heart space and back out. Whew. Take your right leg up into the air in three-leg dog. Let's step it forward into lunge. Lower your right knee. Nope, not your right knee. Sorry, that's confusing. Lower your left knee. So your right foot's forward in lunge, left knee down, like we did in the very beginning. Put your right hand on your right thigh, push down and twist towards the right, and then bending your back knee, reach back, right hand for left foot quad stretch. There we go. If that's not available, come down and do the quad stretch on your belly. That's generally available for everybody. Good. Oof. Now imagine again that the legs are hollow tubes, which may not be the sensation that you're having, but fill them again with breath. Like a cascade of breath that fills it with, the breath has the prana, the life force, it has energy, it fills it with shakti. So let the leg be bright as you reach your left knee away from your left hip, your shoulders back. Exhale, release your left leg. Let's walk the right foot towards the left hand and open it out into pigeon. Again, come onto your back. If you need to do pigeon on your back, yeah. I have the needle pose instead. And for a moment, fill with breath. Yeah, maybe even hover the hands off the mat, which takes a lot of earth and fire, as you can feel, but a breathiness. And remember, birds have hollow bones, so they're super light. Then come forward to your forearms. If we want to take flight, we got to get light. Whew. The breath has this natural intelligence, right? Like air carrying the prana is going to clear out things that have gotten constricted that are blocking your enthusiasm or joy. I don't know. Maybe you have extreme enthusiasm for pigeon pose, or maybe it's just for like the results of pigeon pose. But if you're not feeling that way, send your breath to the place where it feels stuck. If you are feeling that way, just say yes. Yeah, this is awesome. When you say, yeah, this is awesome about your poses, they feel better, I'm telling you. Good. Walk your hands back. Step back, downward facing dog, or certainly you can do table if you prefer. Step your left foot forward into lunge. Remember, we're going to start with the quad stretch. Bring your right knee down, scissor the legs. Take your left hand to your left thigh, lift up your torso and twist to the left. Good. Bend your right knee. So your foot comes off and then reach back, left hand to right foot. And if there's a part of you that's going, oh no, that will reverberate through your body as a kind of contraction. So you will subconsciously fight the pose that you are using to open yourself. So if you can instead go, yeah, awesome. Not in a fake positivity kind of way. That's the challenge of it, right? Like to actually seriously believe, like, this is good, even when it hurts. That's the hard part. Squeeze the legs. Reach the right knee away from the right hip. Lift your heart, shoulders back. Good work. Release this leg. Both hands down. Walk your left foot towards your right hand. Open left knee out towards the left. Again, come onto your back if you need to support your hip, and do this as I have the needle pose instead. And then before you go down, because that's all earth, heavy, 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 go, I'm light as a bird. Maybe my hands can come up. I've got hollow bones. I can fly. I got this now. And then come down, but stay light as a bird. If you've ever, like done one of those experiences where you get to hold an owl or something, you can barely feel it. Super light. Pigeon probably, I don't even know. Does it even weigh 2 pounds? I don't know. My pigeon feels like it weighs all 100,000 pounds that I weigh, but unless I let my mind get light, right, and get enthusiastic about it, and then let the body be light and enthusiastic. Push the hips out towards the sides. Reach through your bones. Oh, that feels so good. And walk your hands slowly back. Come again to downward facing dog, just to move the left leg around in space if you'd like. Be in that centered place. And then centering the legs. Inhale forward to plank and exhale lower down. But imagine you had helium balloons in the back of your body. I know that's hard to have at the back at the end of class, but that's what helps you lower. Now uncurl your toes, reach your hands back into Shalabhasana, interlace the fingers behind. Make your legs firm. So now they're not hollow legs anymore, they're earthbound legs. Inner thighs up and back, scoop your tail. Inhale, shoulders forward, curl up in Shalabhasana with the legs down. There's some lift here. Stay light in the torso, bring your hands to the floor alongside your chest, and then curl up even more, head back, shoulders back. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. And exhale and lower. Curl your toes under and come up to your knees. So we're coming to camel pose, Ustrasana. We had this earlier in the practice. Possibly. You may add blocks alongside your ankles. You want a little more lift. You may fold your mat back or put a blanket down for your knees if you need a little more padding. Idea here is to stay light as air as you drop back towards your heels or your blocks. And bring your hands to your waist or your hips. Take a breath, and then with your exhale, release resistance and just fatigue. Let that go. Then as the thighs roll back, draw your tail down. Inhale, inflate with enthusiasm, with lightness, with fullness. Let that start to lift you up. The heart spreads open, curl up, and one or both hands, or actually both hands, to your ankles or to your blocks. Curl up and back for Ustrasana, camel pose. Excellent. Camel pose is too much. Just do a belly back bend, excuse me. Curl. Now with enthusiasm, shine your heart up towards the sky like a Care Bear stare. Reach up. Now root your root your hips down, scoop your tail down. Head is the last thing to come up. Inhale and come up. And now feel ripple of, lightness, right? Light as air, a ripple of bliss floating through the body. It's like, oh, whew, that was all stuck in there. All right, so choices. You can stick with that. You can come onto your belly and do a softer back bend on your belly. You can even do a supported bridge on your block. Other option is the one-legged camel. which is like a lunge with a back bend. So that's what I'm going to talk us through. So we have 2 more back bends. You can take your right leg forward into lunge. Yeah, I need to pad my knee. And one thing to notice is it's a kind of long lunge. Like if I'm hip over knee, then this leg is a little bit unbent. So that I can lunge a little deeper in a moment. Gotta have space. All right, hands on your hips, turn towards the front. Take a breath. Good. Thighs are engaged. Scoop your tail, lift your low belly, and then start to lunge the hips forward towards the front foot, forward towards the front heel. Then with lightness, yeah, light as a pigeon, light as a bird, lift up the heart. Start to curl back. Left hand, you can look back over your left shoulder. Left hand to left heel or a shin or a block. Then curl your heart towards the sky. Take your right arm straight up. Plug it in. Remember the arm circles in the beginning? Circle your arm back towards the wall behind you. And with enthusiasm, curl, 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 radiate. Circle the arm forward towards your thigh. Push down into the legs. Root down. Head again as the last to come up. Whew. And come back up. That is not one where I can check on you. How did it go? Good. So option, if that's a little deep for you, you can be here, hands on the hips, and just lift your heart, or cactus, lift the heart. It's going to give you the same kind of blissful opening without taking it quite as deep. All right, so now left leg is forward, right leg is back. Lunge. Receive the air and the breath. Turn the hips towards the front. Now charge up your legs, thighs back, tail in, and that cough in the low belly is going to support you. Belly's tone. With your hands on your hips, shift the hips forward, and then light as air, lift your ribs up off your hips. Side ribs are long, side body long. Flow the heart open as you take now your right hand back towards your right heel or the block. Yeah. Then you lift your heart towards the sky. Turn it like we do in wild thing pose often. Take your left arm to the sky, plug it in, and it's arm circle back. And as the arm passes your face, see if you can look towards your fingertips. Look back. Reach out with enthusiasm. Filled with Shakti, you radiate beyond the edges of what you thought was possible. Bring your left hand back down. Head is the last to come up as you push down into the legs. Whew, and up you go. Let's take a child's pose. In child's pose, just pause to feel. Allow those constricted, contracted, calcified places within the body to dissolve. At the core of you is a core of bliss. Go deeper. Connect. It's there. Connect with it. We use this practice to help uncrimp the bliss. So that it can radiate out from you like sunshine. Walk your hands slowly back, come back up to a seated position. You can grab a blanket to sit on if you need it. Whew. Let's actually do a twist next. So take the legs out ahead of you. Roll your left inner thigh towards the mat. Bend your right knee, bring your right foot back. So right foot's on the inner left leg. Let your sitting bones be heavy. Inhale, lift arm up. Light as air. hook your left arm or wrap your left arm around your right leg. Put your right fingertips behind and twist to the right. Notice if you're being overly enthusiastic and straining, and back off a little bit so that just the natural enthusiasm, which is going to be a little tempered by your fatigue at this point, can start to just, that's what drives the pose. Shoulders back, hug your right shoulder blade towards your spine, spread your left shoulder blade wide a little bit. Inhale, lift up, untwist. Stretch your right leg forward. Turn your inner right thigh towards the mat and widen the flesh out to the sides. Bend your left knee in. Sitting bones heavy. Inhale, take your right arm up. And then either wrap it or hook it. Left hand behind and twist. Resist the urge to lean back. Stay straight up vertical. Soften over enthusiasm, which is actually over efforting, and be in the neutral enthusiasm, which is just joy. It's just easeful. Don't have to work for it. So the legs are steady, the spine is long. Hug your left shoulder blade towards your spine, widen your right, but without force, right? You're active, you're not overdoing. Inhale, slowly back around towards the front. Take your left leg straight, but then now bring your left knee back and wide for Janu Shirshasana. Again, roll the inner right thigh down. Inner left thigh in. Turn towards the right leg, lift up spine long. And then that same idea, it's like pigeon. Stay light as you come forward. So left hand reaches for the right foot or the strap. You can certainly use the strap. Anchor your right leg. Lift the arms, hollow the armpits, and let your heart be what moves through the window of the arms towards the leg. Feel the texture of the air entering and leaving your body in the form of breath. What a blessing that we have this element, this life-giving element all around us every day. And we, where we live, have clean air. We can see through it. We can breathe it with little fear. That's a blessing. Inhale and slowly come back up. Exhale. Bring the left leg out and forward. Bring the right leg back and wide. Janu Shirshasana. Roll both inner thighs in. Again, you can use the strap if you need to. Turn and face over left leg. Take your right arm up and then exhale and fold. So again, let the left leg have more earth quality. Let the torso have more air quality, especially the arms and armpits. Notice if there's anywhere you're constricting the breath, making it somehow perform something in an unnatural way, and become so sensitive that the breath is allowed to do its own movements. You don't have to breathe it. It breathes you in Theos, with Shakti, with God, with Spirit. Breath is right here doing that breathing for you. Inhale, slowly rise back up. Add this leg, right leg back out beside the left. And now come down onto your back. When you come to your back, bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat, make your hips heavy. So get a little air under your lower back, so low spine is keeping its natural curve when you're here. Take your feet out about as wide as your mat. And then drop both knees to the right side. The right knee will go off to the right, the left knee will land sort of near the right foot. Flex your feet and have enthusiasm in the toes again. Slide the thigh bones back in the hip sockets. Stay there. Or bring your right outer ankle to your left outer knee. That puts any strain on the knees, the ankles, the back. Then release it back down. Imagine the legs as hollow tubes, especially the front of the left hip and the outer edge of the left hip. Instead of being solid, immovable stone, like hollow tubes, send breath down and through the entire tube of the leg, and it has this clearing out quality. Makes it lighter, more malleable. If your right foot is on your left knee, bring it back down. And then inhale and draw both legs back up into the center. Switch sides. Take both legs over to the left side. So the feet are as wide as the mat, remember. Left knee out to the left, right knee lands generally near the left foot. Be on the edge of the foot like a knife blade, very, very sharply on the edge of each foot. And to do that, you activate the toes and create that kind of enthusiastic foot. Again, if you'd like, you can put the outer edge of the left ankle onto the outer right knee. If that's too much, don't do it. Imagine length from your right front hip down through the right knee, even through the right foot. Imagine the legs hollow, like a balloon tube. The air can blow through, create spaces where things were blocked before. Our enthusiasm creates connection. You talk about connection as integration and interweaving, bringing yourself back together. That's what the practice does for us. That's what it can do for our lives. Bring the pieces of our lives that feel just challenged or kind of messy. Can bring them back together in a way that makes sense. When we are driven by our hearts, we can reach a place of deeper integration and wholeness. Bring your left heel back down, take both legs up. It's that wholeness, that joy that is without reason. It's abiding. So both knees pointing to the ceiling. For the last couple of breaths, just take your hands to the heels of your hands, the base of the thigh where the hip and thigh meet, and press the legs away. Draw the belly up, not firmly, but just a little away from the legs. So again, inviting some space in the spine. And as this feels complete, hug your knees in towards your chest. Come into a happy baby or curl into a ball. Or just hug the knees and let the feet dangle, moving the legs in the hip socket. Ever so gently release your feet. Release your legs. And set yourself up now for your Shavasana. It may be that you choose to cover yourself. Maybe that you're completely open and exposed to the air. May even have a breeze. As your body softens, become very sensitive to the sensation and the temperature of the air on your skin, no matter how much of your skin is exposed. Notice if the air is moving or still. Notice the heat or the coolness. Notice that it enters you and leaves again in the form of your breath. Uninhibited, no restriction. Receive it. Let yourself feel now the exact edge of where your body and the air touch. Where's that boundary? Notice how as you reach for something more specific, it feels more diffuse. Let the boundary of your skin expand, dissolve even more into the embrace of the air around and within you. This is from Dana Faulds. When the sun rises in the heart, the only response to life, shouted, sung, or whispered, the bridge between what came before and now, the single simple answer to all prayers, the life-changing voice of Spirit says, with certainty and strength, a resounding, clear, unequivocal yes. to all that is. Welcome a full breath. Gently begin to move the fingers and toes again as if filled with Shaktified breath. And then slowly move and stretch your body in the way that feels good to you. Bend your knee. Roll yourself to your right side. Press down into your hands to come back up to seated. Close your eyes, turn back inwards again. Just connect. Remember in the beginning, we took a little temperature of how much enthusiasm you felt like you had in that moment. Check in again. May this practice support you in unfolding and uncrimping those places that get stuck. May we invite the air in. May we invite enthusiasm, being possessed deeply by Source, so that the bliss, the joy, the aliveness that resides at the center of who you are can come forward and embrighten the world. Bring your palms up in front of your heart. Close with an enthusiastic Om in gratitude for this practice, in gratitude for the ocean of air that surrounds us every day. Welcome an in-breath. Namaste. Alrighty. Thank you all for joining me again this morning. So good to be with you.